What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this collaboration project from Blue and Oh No called A Long Red Hot Los Angeles Summer Night. Now, Blue is a rapper who's coming out of Los Angeles, and then with Oh No, we have a producer coming out of Oxnard, and these two are pioneers who have been around in the game for quite a while. Blue is well known for his critically acclaimed album Below the Heavens, and then with Oh No, he's got plenty of solo work to go along with the massive collection of beats that he's produced for some of our favorite rappers. That said, seeing these two come together on this project, you already know what you're in for, man. You're getting Blue working some really great flows all over this while working in some storytelling, and Oh No is handling the sample-based production. One thing I will say about his production, though, is that it's not your typical sample-based stuff where you're just getting simple loops and not a whole lot going on. I find that his beats are quite intricate and layered, with instruments coming and going, the beat dropping, picking up again, and things like that. So really, this album just comes together so well with that production and these flows. There's also a great concept here is set up on the intro where Blue is welcoming us to Los Angeles and letting us know that we're in for a gangsta tale, which is exactly what he gets into on some of these first tracks. So with the song Round About Midnight, for example, he and the homies are just riding around in the late night getting into whatever they can get to. There's a lot of great storytelling on this one, and that picture is painted quite vividly. Then with Straight No Chaser, we're warned about the dangers of these same streets, where fools be jealous in the loss when you floss them with jewels. Just a reminder to be aware of your surroundings when you're out there riding around, because people are going to be out to get you and rob you. This is something that does come into play later on in the album, so make sure you're paying attention. And then with the song Boogie to Flex, we're seeing how quickly a night of partying and dancing and fun can turn into people throwing up gang signs, pulling out the weapons. The shit can just get nasty really fast. There's even a really dope line on here. I'm not sure who it is on the last verse because there are so many features on this song and throughout the album, but what the line is rag hanging, spelling out your hood dancing, increase the chances your party ending frantic. I just thought that was a dope line that really simply shows you what can happen when those signs start getting thrown up. People are losing their minds. You got drugs and alcohol in the mix, and women as well. We've all been to parties before where shit gets out of hand, and that's what they're talking about on this song. So these are just some of the tracks that are really getting into the concept and the storytelling, but it really picks up on the song Champagne. So with this one, we're getting this very elegant production, and this has Blue just chilling with this girl about to get into some nice, you know what he's trying to get into, man, some round and brown brothers action with this girl. He's about to do his damn thing, but unfortunately, a bunch of dudes rush in and rob him. So this is where the story really begins to pick up. This flows nicely into the next track, The Robbery, which is self-explanatory like so many of these other track titles, where we're getting these guys beating him up, talking shit to him, and basically letting Blue know what he's in for. There's a really dope line on here from Tri-State where he spits, "So take it off slow, nigga, run the jewels, not the rap group, nah, I mean chains and shoes." Obviously, that's a hard-ass reference to the rap group Run the Jewels, so I like that line. And you also notice that Blue is going to rework some of Warren G's bars from the classic song Regulate. When he spits, "They got guns to my head, I think it's going down, I can't believe this happened in my own town." Everybody knows Regulate. That's a classic from Warren G and Nate Dogg. And you're also going to notice on the song Murder Case that the hook throws back to Snoop Dogg's song Murder Was the Case. I think it was really cool how they have this kind of old school West Coast sound going on some of these tracks, and then you're getting these reference to 90s classic West Coast hip hop as well. Really ties in nicely with the project, with the themes and the storytelling. So this is a project that I really like, and I can say right now that this is going to be something on my year-end list, unless of course we get bombarded with a bunch of other great projects. Now, since I did mention some of the features that are happening on here, I need to point out that they all fit in perfectly and they played their roles as good as they could. Now, I'm not going to be able to break down everybody on every verse because sometimes I don't know who's doing what part on each song. These are a lot of guys who are more underground and I'm not overly familiar with, but in spite of that, I think it's really cool how he brings them into this story and they do fill out those roles as I just mentioned. So we've already heard some of this on the song The Robbery, where these guys are playing the guys that are robbing him, and then on Liquor Store, we get a really cool concept where Blue is actually on the phone with two of his homies, so you are getting that phone effect as he's talking to them, and he's basically telling them what happened, like, this shit just went down, I got robbed, we need to mount up and roll out. So that's exactly what happens over the next bunch of tracks and throughout this album, and I'm not going to break down every single song and what happens, because part of the fun is listening to the story and picking up on all these things that are happening. So I am glossing over a couple things here, I'm not going to talk about every single track, but things really pick up on the track Do the Crime in particular. This is where the murderous mayhem just hits its highest point. We got burning bodies, all kinds of gunfire and shit that's going on. And yet, at the end, things don't really end up that well because he ends up getting busted by the police, him and his homies. As the hook says, if you do the crime, you do the time. That's a saying we've all heard before, so that ties into the whole song. And then there are all kinds of other moments on the tail end of this album that are just really keeping with that concept. For example, on Facing Time, we're getting beautiful soul production as Blue is just kind of lamenting and being introspective about the current situation he's in. Then with Jail Cypher, once again, the features are playing their role perfectly as he's just rapping with his cellmates, and then one of the guards is basically telling him to shut the fuck up and keep it down. That in particular was a really cool concept track that showcases a lot of great features and lyricism, and the album sort of ends on a high note with Fresh Out. Obviously you can guess what this is about by the title, very triumphant sounding track that matches with that. So this is just a really dope album, man. I don't have a lot of complaints with this. It's all tied together greatly by this production that Ono brings, as I talked about at the start. Very intricate and layered, it switches up, it's not just very simple and boring, so it kept my attention. And Blue's flows on some of these tracks are fucking bananas, man. I know I didn't talk about that too much, I really focused on the story and concept because I think that's one of the main things to get into in a review for this album, obviously. But Blue is just snapping on some of these songs, man, especially on the single The Lost Angels Anthem. Just the flows and rhyme schemes he's working on this are insane. Definitely check that one out if you're wondering about this project, because I think if you like that, you'll want to check the rest of it out. And yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got to say on this one. I'm looking at my notes, you know how I roll. We got it all in there. I'm going to go with a 4 out of 5 on this one, man. This is another project that I can see making my year-end list. But you know what? Still early. We'll see what happens. But either way, check this shit out because it's dope. But that's just what I got to say on it. You guys check it out for yourself and then hit me up in the comment section with all your thoughts. And of course, make sure you do that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.